Everything we do that's repetitive is on the chopping block. And since almost everything we do is repetitive, we don't need to get to AGI. We just need to do things where lots of people create lots of repetitive data, and then we tokenize it, and we train the AI on the tokens. And then for the most part, it says, it doesn't matter. It can be a photograph, it can be music, whatever it is, amino acids. Just give me a large enough data set and let me add it and take a hike for a little while. I'll train on it, and then I'll know how to do that. You know what it's bad at? Things where there isn't much data. So I just found out about these orphan proteins where, like, everybody's got a different version of hemoglobin. Mm-hmm. But, the quaternary structure of hemoglobin is these 4 heme groups, 4 different proteins around a central element. What happens when you have a protein that has no analog anywhere else? The system doesn't have the ability to learn it. If I train you on the blues and you find out what a 12-bar blues progression is, then you find out that there's a variation where the second bar goes to the 4th rather than just staying on the 1 for 4 bars. And then sometimes the 4th bar has a 7 in it to create tension. Okay, so it's going to learn every single form of the blues like that. And because there's a large corpus of that stuff, it's going to get really good at blues music. But if you take something that basically never happens, it's not going to have an easy ability to train and give you more. So I think that AI is almost certainly going to transform the economy because everything that we know how to do through education creates repetitive behaviors. We don't know how to educate for creativity and genius. We know how to educate for doing higher level things. So radiology is a great example. Radiologists are, some of the first in the crosshairs. I'm going to stare at some imaging and I'm going to say, I think that's a tumor. I think that's benign. And it's going to say, just give me all of these tokens. Like, well, they're x-rays, they're CAT scan. No, they're just tokens. So yeah, it's going to start to automate away every repetitive behavior. And then what's going to be left is the tiny number of things that aren't really highly repetitive or things where we really care that a human does it. Very interesting what's happened with chess. I don't know if you've been following chess.
I loosely understand it, mainly because I've spoken to a lot of AI experts and they often reference chess as an example where...
It's one of the first things that humans did that we really cared about that fell. So they've been longer in the AI tractor beam than any of the rest of us in some sense.
How did it fall?
Through Deep Blue and IBM and Garry Kasparov.
But does that mean that people aren't interested in chess anymore? Or what are you saying?
No, that's the whole point. So Magnus Carlsen, the greatest chess player of our time and perhaps of all time, was on Joe Rogan. And Joe asked him the simple question, can your phone beat you? He's like, yeah, easily. So the point is we can't compete with, I don't know, Stockfish or whatever the top chess programs of our time. I don't know anymore. But nobody cares about those programs except for AI experts. We care about the drama of, Anand versus Carlsen.
Two humans.
Two humans. Because it's about us. We're very narcissistic in this way. And so there was a period, and this is something that my wife tried to popularize. So she said this thing about the golden age of AI complementarity, where the AIs aren't good enough to take over from us, but they're amazing tools. And so there's a period where we're teamed up, the prompt engineering revolution. They're not good enough to come up with their own prompts. And a great example of this that she and I have been talking about is the cyborg chess era, which is a period where humans and the AIs could form teams that would do better. But at some point, the AI just looks at the human and says, you're just holding me back.
You've got 2 children.
Yeah.
When they're thinking about their career prospects, with all that you think and know and believe about the future that we're heading towards, what kind of career advice would you be giving to them?
Oh, I've given them terrible career advice. I gave them somewhat different career advice. So to my son, my advice was do the hardest, most technical thing you possibly can do and be prepared to use that ability, that facility in different ways than you're honing it, but train yourself. With my daughter, I think she cares deeply about people. And, there's a typical male-female divide. And by the way, I'm not going to talk overly much about them because I try to keep them out. But she is, somebody who is taking the same level of analytic ability, but putting it in the service of the law and trying to help people who are, really unfortunate. She's very idealistic. And so at some level, the law is not going to allow us to have AI lawyers for quite some time. It's not going to trust anything. We've got jury trials and judges and a legal system that's written into our founding documents. To the average person, I would say get your board in the water and prepare to paddle like all get out. The tsunami of a lifetime is coming, and nothing your elders have seen is going to prepare. There's no good advice to give that's specific. Let's put it this way. One of the things when people tell me about their moving from one city to another, I have a phrase that nobody likes, which is every place is over. Oh, I'm moving to Austin. Yeah, it's over. Miami, it's over. Nashville, over. All these places are over. And every occupation that is named is over. I'm going to be a dentist, radiologist, accountant, teacher. These are all over. Whatever's coming, get flexible, get good on a bunch of different stuff. Learn how to think across disciplines. I have no idea what's going to be left for us.